Tongfu.
We feel Tongfu is very strong and stable, and they've been improving recently a lot, and we can't wait to play.
好的，他们说这个同福之前的这个表现也是非常棒，是一个非常强力的对手。好，那么对于老干爹 ldDOTA 在第一阶段的这个表现，不知道同福的豪士有什么样的看法？
他们也是一支非常厉害的队伍，但是我们不惧怕他，一定会赢他。
How said he has confidence to beat you, and how do you think about this?
I'm gonna say he's wrong. We're confident too.
他说这个豪说的是错的，他有信心赢得今晚的比赛。So please say something to encourage your teammate.
Let's go, team.
好的，也是为自己的这个队友加油。那同样好。
兄弟们加油！
好的，那让我们对这场精彩的比赛拭目以待，稍后见。
All right, welcome back everybody to our first day of semifinal action for the G League Season 2. And it is going to be a bit of an interesting schedule. I'll throw it up on the screen quickly just for anyone who's tuning in late, who's wondering what the hell is going to happen with these games. Why are there 4 games for 2 semifinals? Well, the reason is, I don't know. I actually don't know. I think it has something to do with the fact that the G League is on TV in China. Maybe they don't want such a potentially long viewing block with a best out of 5. It could go, I mean, easily 5 hours with delays, with lag, and so forth. So for whatever reason, each semifinal is going to be broken up over 2 days. Games 1 and 2 will happen on day 1 for LGD International versus Tongfu. It's a best out of 5. So then, no matter what, we'll have at least 1 game the second day. Hopefully we'll have 3, but games 3, 4, and 5, as needed, will be played tomorrow. The same time will be, the start time will be the same, 20 SGT, which is 13 CET or 7 EST. And then, starting 2 days from now, on January 6, 2013, we'll kick off IG versus LGD China, the two of the titans from Chinese Dota over the past 6 months. First and third place at the International 2, respectively. Those teams, we'll be seeing them in 2 days' time. So that's the schedule coming your way over the next couple of days. If I'm wrong about this, I will let you know right away. But as far as I know, that is going to be the schedule. So with all that being said, I'm LD. I'm hopefully going to be joined here by Winter soon. I think he may be having a much-needed breakfast, or I guess not breakfast, dinner, because it's 8 p.m. there. But for me, it would be breakfast. Yeah, sounds like he's still eating. But he'll join us soon. So while we're waiting, I'll quickly sort of... They just had the pregame interviews, and it was interesting because Brax was very confident, and he's a young player. He's the least experienced of his team when it comes to competitive play, and yet he sounded very, very confident. They've been training a lot. They've been training hard. He said, basically, pride cometh before the fall, Hal. Of course, Hal from Tongfu was the one with the red glasses being interviewed there, and it was fun to see. I like these pregame interviews. It's too bad that we're not always able to get the Chinese version translated. We only have that when there's LGD.int playing because they don't speak Chinese for the most part. Although I know they're getting lessons. They're trying to learn it. The team is working on that, but it takes a while. And I hear Winter now. I hear his patented background static. Winter, how you doing, buddy?
Just finished my dinner.
Well, at least you finished chewing before you start talking. Your mom trained you well.
Is there a lot of static?
No, it gets better. I think Skype adjusts after a few seconds. It's a little bit. No big deal. Nothing unusual to worry about. I'll remind you now so you don't forget, turn on your in-game audio if you haven't already done so.
Yeah, already done.
You're one step ahead of me. You're learning too quickly for my taste. So Winter, today's matchup, Tongfu versus LGD International. We're only going to see the first 2 games today, and it is a best out of 5. So no matter what, these teams will have a day to go home, think about what happened today, and then come back tomorrow and maybe even do a little preparation and practice before tomorrow's games.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the schedule being done this way. It allows the teams that are down in the first 2 games to get back to the drawing board to think what went wrong today, and tomorrow is another new day that it gives you time basically to fix what went wrong in the first 2 games.
So it favors the teams that maybe could, benefit more from preparation than a team who's just better in general in any matchup.
Especially if you just lose 2 games and you got stormed in both the games, it's a lot better if you have time to just take a break, get a good night's sleep. The next day, just come up to the drawing board and discuss as a team, what should we do today? And it's a much-needed rest for the teams.
Yeah, and this is not the first time such a format has been used. If you watch DreamHack, it's a best out of 3 for the finals. but they play game 1 on sort of the Dota 2 area. At least that's what they did the last tournament. And then games 2 and 3, they move it to another arena. So as a result, there's about a 1-hour break because they use this arena for multiple tournament finals, not just Dota 2. So that was something that actually came up in interviews, and Evil Geniuses, well, I know No Tidehunter said that they thought it helped them, and I think Evil Geniuses said they didn't like having the break, as they were leading 1-0 going into that break. But, you know, that's where No Tidehunter, they came up with their very unorthodox Roshan strategy. Furion suiciding to the Roshan, and then EG falling for the bait. It's something that can have an impact in these series. With that being said, this is a best out of 5. So if you're down 2-0 going into game 2, you might have time to prepare, but you're not going to be happy about your position anyway.
Yeah, but at least you have time to sort of relax down instead of going 3 games in a row, and if there's something the teammates are not happy about each other and you go into the 3rd game, it's not going to be good if you do that.
It's gonna be different no matter what.
Yeah, if you have time to just rest and talk about it later, everyone gets into a better mood and shape. It could be more positive for the team.
Let me ask you, Winter. It sounds like you do believe in momentum being a very important factor in competition.
Yes.
You're a big.
Of course.
Some people say momentum is BS. It's nonsense, but you're a believer.
Yeah, because I strongly think that the mood of the team affects greatly on the performance that they will be giving during the match. If you are down 2-0 and you get trashed 2 games, it's highly likely that the 3rd game your mood is going to be still very low, and I don't really like that. I prefer to have a period of time where you can rest and just take a break, talk about the game. Maybe not a day, just 1 hour or half an hour, so that everyone can refresh themselves.
Well, it is going to be a full day's break, and probably that is something to do with the TV broadcast production schedule. Remember, in China, they do have live streams of the tournament, I believe, but it's on TV, and that's where most people are watching. So, for whatever reason, that's the schedule we're dealing with, but it's something different. It is worth mentioning and discussing a little bit, but I think we've talked about it enough. We saw the pregame interviews, both Hao as well as Brax for Tongfu and LGD International, respectively. Sounded pretty confident, quietly so, I would say. They're not super outspoken. Brax is being funny, though. But and Hao a little bit more serious. But as we look at this matchup, Tongfu versus LGD International, what are your initial thoughts?
I think it's going to be a game where draft again comes into the important role, where whichever team gets themselves, like for example LGD International, if they get themselves a lineup which consists of Luna and Chen together with the mid lane or G either getting a Night Stalker, it will be really difficult for Tongfu to handle the 5-man push. And as long as they deny Tongfu, the much needed Keeper of the Light, to deal with the 5-man push, I don't see Tongfu coming out on top if the game and the draft goes that way.
Now, you mentioned the Night Stalker, and it's an interesting hero to bring up because we've also seen Mu playing a lot of Night Stalker for Tongfu. They don't really do the 5-man group up and push, but it's been Mu's preferred hero as of late.
Yeah, it's been a much preferred hero from the recent matches of Tongfu.
And if we look at the matchup a little bit deeper, for LGD International, oftentimes what we're seeing from them, there's 2 main... Well, it's 1 main strategy, which is that 5-man group up and push around the 6 to 8 minute mark, but there's 2 main sort of variants. The one variant is the double roaming jungle, with 1437 usually on Shadow Demon or Rubik, to set up the Chen or the Enchantress, and then Misery on the Enchantress or the Chen. That's one variant. Variant number 2 is where the offensive tri-lane, and usually with Brax being the 3rd member of the tri-lane. Once in a while, it's been with G, I believe, but mostly with Brax. So offensive tri-lane with a very strong laning tri-lane. They can get a lot of kills. They can pressure the tower. And then they'll often get smokes and go for some early ganks if they feel like they can leave the tri-lane, or they'll just create a lot of pressure. So they use those 2 main openings, but then it does transition in the mid-game into the 5-man push. Often the key heroes we see for this are the junglers, especially the Chen, and then for Misery. And then along with that, the Luna, or sometimes the Lone Druid for pajkatt.
Yeah, and I think that it also depends on their opponents. I see LGD.int doing that a lot against LGD.CN, because we talked about this before, where you want to roam at the early game to shut down Director 8 from getting a good start. Mm-hmm. I think they use it specifically against certain teams. I don't think it's something they do like all the time, but they do it against a certain team.
I did see them do it against MUFC in the LGD, or I think that was MUFC. I know I saw them do it in the GST Challenge. Maybe it was against Orange Esports, but they have used it against other teams besides LGD China. But like you said, it does seem to work especially well against them because of the kinds of heroes that Xiaowei tends to play and the kinds of strategies that LGD China tends to run. Tongfu, in some ways, has looked rather similar. When we look at Mu's hero pool and what he's been playing, it's a lot of heroes similar, not always the same, to what, say, Xiaowei from LGD China is playing. So... does Tongfu need to make an adjustment? Like, if you're going into this draft as Tongfu, what heroes are you banning? Are you getting rid of heroes like Luna or Lone Druid? What is your focus in the draft?
The first game is Tongfu's second pick. So if they are second pick right now, they have no choice but to ban the Nyx Assassin. And
the Bat Rider.
They'll either choose to give out the mag or the Bat Rider. But I think it will be the Bat Rider because it's not LGD China.
So if you do that, then Luna is open. We won't see it as a first pick, most likely. I think they've done it once, but if they want to go for it, it will be an option. But like you said, probably the Bat or the Mag is being given away. I'd rather give away the Mag. I'm with you, not because it's a very scary hero, but it doesn't work quite as well for that 5-man push. It takes a little bit longer to really have an impact.
And the other reason being that LGD International are not so comfortable with that hero. You usually see Brax on the Darkseer, Tidehunter, Clockwork, or even is there any more heroes?
Yeah,
Am I missing anything?
No, I think you caught it, and it's mostly been the Darkseer, although in this tournament he's played more of the Tidehunter because often the Darkseer's been getting banned or picked by the opposing team.
Yeah, Darkseer is a really strong 5-man offlaner hero that gives a lot to the team. With the additional option of running him in the jungle at the start, giving him more farm if he can't go to the offlane. If you compare it to Tide just can't do that. And I'm pretty sure they will always prefer to have the Darkseer instead of the Tidehunter.
Yeah, they would. Now, the Tidehunter, in some ways, it works better at level. If he can get level 6 by the time it's 7 or 8 minutes, and then you go, he's going to offer you more than the Darkseer. But, he's not going to be able to build that mech as quickly. That's one thing we have seen them struggle a little bit with when Brax isn't on the Darkseer, is getting out that mechanism. And sometimes they just fall back on Misery to do it with the Chen. But we'll see. We'll see if they can get it out, because the games where they have trouble getting that out quickly, it does seem like their push is much harder to come by.
Yeah, and I'm very interested to see whether Tongfu will try to pick up the Keeper of the Light early on, or LGD International will just ban it right in the first phase, because they're having first pick now. They have the liberty to either ban the Keeper of the Light or just leave it in the pool.
And we'll also see, you mentioned that scenario, and I'm interested to see Game 2 as well, depending on how this game goes. When Tongfu have the first pick, what they're going to leave in the pool, what they're going to go for. Is Keeper of the Light worth a first pick against LGD International, knowing their style? It's, let's say they're banning out the Bat Rider and the Nyx Assassin, but Keeper's in the pool. Is that something you would go for? We'll have to see, but it won't surprise me if Tongfu first pick it in that second game.
I think they might be able to pick it later on because of the fact that LGD in themselves don't really like to run the Keeper of the Light, and if they don't ban it, they could still get it in the in the first stage, but the second pick.
It's really interesting, the draft right now, because that team that has first pick, they're always trying to go for Bat or Nyx Assassin, like 90% of the time, and the second pick team is really forced to ban those heroes. Sure, there's less bans, but it really in this version, but it really does remind me of 0.74b, the version at the International 2, where whoever had second pick was always banning Lycan, Darkseer, Naga almost every match.
Yeah, who being first pick and who being second pick, it really changes a lot of the strategies that are going to be used, because in my opinion the first pick really has a lot more control on how they want to pick it and how to force the opponent to maybe use certain strategies to deal with them, because they are going to most likely have one strong hero or a more preferred hero because being first pick.
So we've talked a lot about LGD International. They're the team that has, I think, the more unique and defined style out of these two, but Tongfu, we've seen some tendencies from them. We've been seeing Mu play a lot of Night Stalker, as mentioned. Occasionally, I think we've seen him on the Brewmaster, but it's mostly been Night Stalker. Veronica loves to get that mag almost every game. It's a decent hero against the 5-man group up and push, especially if he can get the early levels, and often he'll be able to. Against LGD International, you're usually 1v1 versus pajkatt, and oftentimes it's a Luna, and we saw yesterday that Mag actually does reasonably well against Luna. It can get quite a lot of levels and farm. Pajkatt's feeling pretty confident here. He's drawing his fake pistols and shooting them at the camera.
Wait,
we need to invite him to our next 1v1 tournament, because we have this Old West theme going.
Is it in the Chinese stream?
Yeah, it is. And now they're introducing godkillthemall, or G.
I think I'm not seeing it because of the delay again.
But that is one thing that Tongfu can probably get away with in this matchup, is Veronica, if he plays Mag, and we see, say, the Luna for Pajkatt, which is extremely likely based on past matches, he's going to be able to get a very quick level 6, most likely.
Yeah, and I think I sort of understand what you said before, where the signature heroes is actually the heroes where the panels, they decide on the players, because I just see that one of the casters, they said that Tongfu is going to pick Lycan, be careful, and the next moment I can see in the Chinese stream that one of the signature heroes of How is Lycan.
Well, we have seen the Lycan. That's something Pajkatt has run, actually. And was it in this tournament, or I know he's played it recently. I think it was in the group stage.
It was in the one game. It was against, I can't remember who, but I did remember him playing it once.
It's not. I would say it's not their preferred carry because he generally needs more help in the lane. But if Lone Druid and Luna are banned, that's the one that they are likely to turn to.
Okay, I think I remember. It's against Falleth.
And if I recall correctly, they banned Luna and picked Lone Druid or something like that, and so all that was left was Lycan. And the reason that what's interesting about this is before that match they tried Clinks in the past for Pajkatt, but it just doesn't have the same 5-man impact as a hero like Lycan in the mid game.
And not to mention that he got dominated in the lane by Yao.
Ah, yes, that was painful.
Solo kill, and he got harassed a lot at the start as well. Clinks is very strong 1v1 against a lot of heroes, but not at that level 1 mark, and just underestimating how much damage the Mag could do. And Clinks is a lot weaker in terms of armor and hit points, so Magnus is able to trade blows with more confidence, and he doesn't really matter too much for the Magnus because he's a melee hero. If he doesn't trade blows now before the creeps come out at the start, the Clinks is going to use his searing arrow on him a lot in the lanes. So why not just trade blows now? Lower the Clink's health or use some of his regen first so that he's not so comfortable in the lane later on. Mag is totally okay with the Clink's trading blow at the start.
And it gets a lot harder once the Click hits level 5 and the searing arrows are doing, what is it, 30 damage a pop? It's a lot of extra damage.
40 at level 3.
40, yes. So it's a lot of extra damage.
And not to mention, the cooldown is 0, even at level 1.
Yeah. It really tickles at level 1, though. It doesn't actually hit that hard, but once you level it up, it gets scary. So, yeah, but the lycanthrope, something that LGD International could pull out of their back pocket if those signature carries are banned or picked up by Tongfu.
Well, I think it's quite highly unlikely that they will pick it, because, in my opinion, that if you pick a Lycan, and the opponent deals with it by sending their tri-lane, because the main weakness now is Lycan, you can't jungle with it. You have to go to the lane, and Lycan is very weak in the lane. If Tongfu throws the tri-lane on the Lycan, he can't farm. He doesn't have a good start. The tier 1 tower goes down really fast. Tongfu proceeds on to ward all the neutral camps later on, creating vision. And how is the Lycan going to farm later on? It's going to be very difficult.
When they've gone for him, it has usually been later in the draft, and I think in that game it was a situation where you pretty much knew that 4Love wasn't going to offensive tri-lane, but you're right, if they do aggressive tri-lane against your Lycan, if you pick it up early, or they have an option to do it, he's very weak to that.
It's sort of a very risky pick, even though sometimes you think that, okay, they have this sort of lineup that it's highly unlikely they will do an aggressive tri-lane. What if you force the pick Lycan, and they still manage to come up with something to deal with you? And how are you going to deal with it with the Lycan? Because Lycan is so weak in the lane. Even though the tri-lane is not strong, but you will have a lot of hard time to try to farm up and get your early levels up.
And he needs a good start. Compared to other carries, Lycan is pretty decent later on in the game, but really where the hero's strength is getting early towers and early Vlads, and then the next set of core items like the Treads, the BKB, the Necro 3, whatever you're going for. The longer it takes to get that Vlads, the more trouble you have early, the more your timing's delayed. It's similar to an anti-mage in the sense that, the hero's strength lies in just out-farming your opponents, out-pushing your opponents in the early to mid-game once that core item, that core farming pushing item comes out. But if it's delayed, he isn't as scary later on in the game because he doesn't have that jump start on you.
Yeah, and with anti-match being said, anti-match is about how fast you can get the Battle Fury to crank up your GPM and split push everywhere insanely. For Lycan, it's more of how fast you get the offerings, how fast you're going to down the Roche, how fast are you going to get your your Necrobox as your next item, so that whenever the opponent is trying to push any of your towers, you can basically take out their entire. If there's no more outer towers, you can basically take out the racks by yourself.
So the draft is underway, and something you wanted to see that, well, if you want to run 5-man push, that Keeper of the Light is very annoying, very pesky to play against. LGD International, they ban it in the first stage. They first pick most likely the Brax Darkseer. Now, once in a while, I think we saw one game where G took it mid, but that was against the Templar Assassin specifically. I don't know if Tongfu would go for the TA with this opening, but if they want to, maybe we'll see a G Darkseer. Otherwise, we'll probably be Brax playing it, but Tongfu, how do they react to this? There's a Luna in the pool. There's a Lone Druid in the pool. LGD.int will probably be happy to pick up either one, whichever one Tongfu doesn't take, and they're going to go for the Lone Druid. And the Night Stalker.
Yeah, and this is a very crucial pickup because they are trying to deny at least one of the pickups LGD.int might get, just in case they go for the Luna Night Stalker next on. So they're opting for the Lone Druid plus the Night Stalker. At least LGD.int won't have too strong of a combo with their lineup.
Yeah, and Luna with that great base move speed, both heroes very strong at the nighttime eclipse, increasing the nighttime duration by 10 seconds, or turning it to night if it's day, and both of them having great chasing power. So they have some good synergy. They're good in 5-man group up and push. We won't see them combine this game, but at the same time, it's still very flexible for LGD International. Where do you think we're going to see them go from here? Are they going to go for, say, that Luna plus Chen combo? Do you get one of your supports to roam with the Chen? Because if you don't get that Shadow Demon or Rubik right now, Tongfu is probably taking one or just banning them both out in this next stage. And then who's going to be setting up for your Chen?
LGD.int will probably still go for, as you can see, they've already picked up the Chen. I think they'll go for the Luna as well. And they will opt for early Smoke Gang. Because they need to shut down the Night Stalker. Night Stalker being the tempo controller of Tongfu right now, they have to try and slow his farm down and levels progression so that he doesn't really have too big of an impact later on to pesca around all the LGD.int supports, especially the Shadow Demon if they're going to pick it up.
So if they go for Luna, here, then we could see Tongfu probably take the Shadow Demon, I think, since they need a support anyway. He's not great against the push, but he's great against Luna. And if they don't go for them, then LGD.int, they need a setup here to go with that Chen, and Tongfu, if I were them, I'd be banning it. But they're not going to go for the Luna. They decide we want the setup for Chen. That's more important than getting the Luna here. And since you have Night Stalker anyway, we don't really think it's the best pick, so we're going to go for Shadow Demon.
And Tongfu can't really pick up Luna as well, so it's either Tongfu ban it in the next phase, use one of the bans to ban it, but LGD.int still has other options in the form of carries for pajkatt.
Yeah, we mentioned the Lycan. He's played the Clinks. I don't think we've seen anything else from that. He obviously, pajkatt, well known for his anti-mage play a couple of months back, and for CLG, we haven't seen it as much as of late. I don't really think it suits their style, but it is there, especially with this draft opening, but it is an option. They already have quite a few illusion-based heroes with the Darkseer and the Shadow Demon, so that would make the anti-mage quite a bit stronger.
That never fails to get past your mind when you see Darkseer and Shadow Demon.
Hey, if I'm not pointing it out, I'm sure you will be.
Right after, it sunk deep into our minds,
yes,
the illusion thing.
They've branded us in the brain.
This hero, I'm really surprised that it's getting picked up so late. I'm so used to getting this hero picked up so early on.
Winter, I'm told that you need to mute co-caster. There's some sort of echo. There's an option in your audio settings to mute co-broadcaster. I think it's in the bottom left of the audio tab.
Yeah, I already have it on.
Okay, so yep, nothing we can do beyond that, guys. If you have an echo in game, I guess try turning the audio down a little bit, so hopefully the echo goes away, but you still hear the main conversation. We're both using headphones, so there really shouldn't be any kind of echo, or at least I'm using headphones.
You mean I have echoes outside the game or during the stream?
I think they hear me twice. It's okay. Don't worry. It's not a big deal. I don't think it's a major issue. Just wanted to bring it up. And Tongfu, yeah, this is exactly what I expected from them. Is get rid of you're gonna ban the Luna at some point, but for now, get rid of the Lycan. That's the other hero that pajkatt's likely to play, and it's the best pushing carry left.
I'm a bit surprised that they opted to ban the Lycans first. instead of the Luna, because Luna is more highly likely that LGD.int will pick it up.
Well, I think when we see them ban Lycan here, it's very likely they're planning to ban Luna anyway, so they're just going to get rid of both of them. If they only ban one, I'd be very surprised, yeah. If they don't ban both, I'll be very surprised.
Yeah, I think if they don't ban the Luna and LGD.int pick it up, probably could be a very huge mistake there.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see what they do. They haven't banned it yet. I thought, you know, I saw the Lycan, like, oh, they don't care what order they ban them in. They're going to ban Lycan and Luna, but they're not banning the Luna yet, so maybe they're thinking about leaving it in the pool. Is there any reason... Sure, you've got Night Stalker, but is it really worth giving them the best pushing carry in the game that combos really well with Chen Darkseer, who's going to be rushing a fast mech? Is it really worth the risk?
I really don't know what Tongfu is thinking. You can look, they banned the Necrolite. I really don't understand.
I would much rather play against the Necrolite than the Luna, so maybe their Luna is going to be the last ban. Because you've got Night Stalker, he's one of the best counters in the game to a Necrolite.
And Necrolite doesn't seem to work out well for
anyone.
Both of the LGD teams. They are both picking Necrolites, and it seems that in the games they have Necrolite. They always either they win very hard or they just lose very hard.
And I never feel like it's the Necrolite that's winning the game. Even if he does okay in his lane, I feel like there's a lot of other heroes that can have that same impact.
Oh, I really don't know. See, they never banned the Luna at all.
Interesting. LGDN actually banning an Enchantress. Long DD, we saw him play a lot of Chen yesterday. I don't know that they would go for an Enchantress, though.
Yeah, I haven't seen Long DD play Enchantress. He only plays Chen.
And they left Luna in the pool. They banned a Shadow Fiend. Are they baiting this Luna pick? They have to know that LGDN won it. Is there something up their sleeve that we haven't foreseen yet to counter it? LGDN has they have the Shadow Demon. I don't know. Do they just have a lot of confidence in Veronica that he can do well or even win that 1v1 versus Luna?
Yeah, I think they have that in mind as well. And the other reason being that Lone Druid could still take on the Luna. If they decide to 5-man early on, Lone Druid has a Radiance. Lone Druid has that significant advantage early on because it's much more tanky than the Luna. And the bear could absorb partial damage from the Eclipse as well.
Lifestealer, the pickup from LGDN, so they're at least not going for the Luna here. Would they maybe put the Lifestealer mid versus the Night Stalker? He does pretty well in that matchup.
Yeah, and Lifestealer is something we see teams commonly use to go up against the Lone Druid.
It could be an offensive trial. I mean, that's what we expect. I'm just thinking outside the box. But like you said, Shadow Demon Lifestealer +1 is a very strong tri-lane if they want to go that way. They
could also ditch the Lifestealer at bottom and give him the solo lane against the Magnus. He will still do well against the Magnus. Melee heroes are not... Melee, especially strength heroes, because the higher your HP, the higher feast drain and damage the Lifestealer deals to you.
There is that G Templar Assassin in the pool, so they could put the Lifestealer bottom versus the Mag, and then they could put the TA mid versus the Night Stalker, and both of those are good matchups. Is that what they're thinking? And then offensive tri-lane with Darkseer, Shadow Demon, and Chen.
This is very surprising.
Oh, let's see what the last pick is. Winter spoiling it, as usual. Luna, they are going to go for it. Wow.
The pick is not surprising. It's the combination of the draft that's surprising.
They don't... I mean, Lifestealer's been a solid choice, so what are we going to see, I guess, a Lifestealer mid versus the Night Stalker, and then a Luna safe lane versus the Mag?
They want to use... this strategy is a bit interesting. They're using two potential strong carries in the game to solo and win their lanes and have a good start. And if Tongfu can't deal with them in the early phase and to mid phase, if the game ever goes late, there's going to be very hard for Tongfu because
wait.
Lifestealer plus Luna.
Wait, you just said if the game ever goes late, it's going to be very hard for Tongfu. But let me remind you, they have Magnus. We've seen what happens with this hero late. I get your point. They do have two carries. They also have the Shadow Demon on their side.
I want to add that it's not Yao, but I'm not taking away anything from Veronica, but...
It's not Yao. It's also LGD China. They're very polished when it comes to defensive play. I'd say they're the strongest defensive team in China by far.
And Magnus just makes it so strong for them to have it. because they are just so patient in the way they defend their towers. It always comes down to when the mag is going to get the timing to destroy your team.
And their last pick, they went with a Witch Doctor up against a Lifestealer who can generally just walk up and come kill him. Interesting choice. What do you think about this pick?
I don't like it. I don't like it at all because Witch Doctor doesn't really deal with the Lifestealer really well, and he's sort of a mediocre support in the lane, except for the long range and high base damage.
He has good base, like you said, he's got good base damage, but the problem is he doesn't have the kill power of other supports with better nukes. Cast is very unreliable.
He has the kill power, but it doesn't come immediately. It comes from the curse, the Maledict.
Yeah, I hear like Shadow Demon or Rubik can even look to set up kills at level 1 or 2. With Witch Doctor, even if you're going for Maledict max first, you really have to be level 3 to do anything.
Oh, they're not going... Oh, they're going to do... Oh, this is not something we expected. Brax is on the Lifestealer. It's going to be an aggressive tri-lane with the Lifestealer. And one more thing, I think the reason being the Witch Doctor pickup, it could be due to the fact that the Paralyzing cast is good against the Chen creeps.
And they're sending this Lone Druid mid. I think they're expecting the Lifestealer to be there. He's not bad against Darkseer mid, but I think he would be more annoying for the Lifestealer than he will be for the Darkseer. Well, let's introduce the players before this really gets underway. 1437 on the Shadow Demon. Early smoke picked up on him. Misery, double smokes for these guys. A lot of early ganks going to be coming. Misery on the Chen. We have Brax in the offensive tri-lane with the Lifestealer. We have G, solo mid, as the Darkseer. Last but not least, we have Pajkatt on the Luna. And we have a pause as well.
Happy time to introduce the players. We have Veronica on the Magnus for Tongfu, on the off lane, and Hao on the mid lane, Lone Druid. And in the tri lane, we have Long DD as the Lina, Sansheng in the Witch Doctor, which we don't see too often, and Mu on the Night Stalker.
So it's a tri-lane Night Stalker.
Because Night Stalker, I think Tongfu is saying that, okay, Night Stalker won't have a good time against middle against a Lifestealer. They were expecting a Lifestealer in middle. And so they just, how you take middle? Well, basically he's the drafter, he'll say, okay, it's better for me to take middle and you have the safe lane more. I can deal with the Lifestealer better than you.
Interesting. Very interesting start. We are going to see a matchup we saw yesterday in the bottom lane. This is something we've seen before. It's going to be the Luna versus the Mag, and Shockwave spam. So incredibly hard to deal with. Even with the early Tranquil boots, it's the Shockwave, and especially if you're able to bottle Crow. And with the Lone Druid mid, you'll be able to bottle Crow constantly.
This is going to be his bottle for the whole early game, the Crow. No one needs a bottle.
Yeah, the Lone Druid doesn't need it. The defensive tri-lane won't need it, I don't think.
Yeah, he can hog it for as long as he wants to. Because Mu in the safe lane, I don't think he'll go for early bottles. Probably he'll just come up with an early urn or even a treads to go gank. So it'll be all Veronica's bottle to refill.
And this is the nice thing about putting the Night Stalker top. It does mean the courier is less needed for that lane. Because if he was mid, he'd be needy as well. And sure, we saw you can be efficient like LGD China, but you're not going to be able to bottle Crow as much as if you just have a courier for yourself.
Yeah, of course. You rather have it for all by yourself, so you can just bottle Crow as much as you want.
Alright, Winter, I guess let's try turning off your open mic in-game and then turning it back on again, just to see if it fixes the echo problem. I'm guessing it won't, but hey, we have a pause, might as well give it a shot. And just make sure you have the white bubble when it's done. Since some people...
Yeah, still has the white bubble.
Okay, and I guess if you're not using headphones and you have some, maybe try putting them on. Beyond that, guys, if there's an echo in-game, nothing else we can really do. Sorry, we're trying our best.
Is it my voice or?
I think they're hearing me twice over your microphone. They're hearing me a little bit.
I already turned the mute co-broadcaster off.
Well, don't worry about it. You've done the best. Oh, turn it on. It should be on.
Oh yeah, on. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
It's on.
So in the middle lane, already we see G pushing the lane with Iron Chill, and Hao is not getting any last hits. He's already missed 2. Will he get this last 2? It looks like he will. And this is going to be an annoying lane for the Lone Druid. Being mid against Darkseer, he's going to get less farm. That's what happens when you're up against Darkseer in this lane. Because you're always fighting under your tower.
But I think it shouldn't be too much of a hassle because he has that double attack with the Spirit Bear and the Hero. He should be able to get most of it under the tower.
Yeah, he is getting most of them. I'm just pointing out he's missing more than he would if he's in the safe lane. But as I say that, he's up to 5 and 2, so Missed a couple, but now he recovers. It's very early anyway, but pajkatt's getting a little more so far.
They are rotating back bottom. They're not going to try to contest the aggressive try in top.
And they're just leaving Brax to his own devices up here.
And look at how he notices that there's something wrong. He's standing. Oh, they just spoke in time. He didn't scout it.
It's the early smoke ganks from these guys, but with the lane pushing, this is a great time to dive him. Hal's got to get really far back. Will he be back far enough? They're waiting in the wings. The Centaur's going to lead the way here with the disruption setting up the stun. Hal's got to be careful. Hal scouts it out with the hero. Dispels the smoke, and the danger is past, or it should be.
He knew that there was something wrong, and LGD.int always favored to go for those early ganks. Oh, are they going to still... Oh, I think they're going to still go on.
They're going to still go. I don't know if he actually saw them. He did dispel the smoke. He didn't actually have vision when I checked. They missed the stun. Now the disruption comes. I don't know if they can get this kill without that stun. He gets body blocked. He gets surrounded. What a great surround from LGD.int. They are really practiced and accomplished at that. Every time they get that disruption, they go for the surround. First blood claimed after the smoke failed and after the Centaur stomp failed.
It was also because how blocked himself in
with the bear.
The Spirit Bear was blocking one of his exits.
Even by the time he could have moved it, it probably would have been too late. He would have had to do it from the start.
Yeah, but it's sort of still partly because of him blocking himself that resulted into the kill.
Unfortunate. And on the top lane, Brax already up to level 2. They're not really shutting him down fully. And Lifestealer in this lane, he's just not going to die unless he wastes his rage at their own time.
And I don't know about leaving Brax up here alone. I really don't.
Lifestealer, he's not the most item-dependent carry, but he does need quite a lot of levels and some decent items to have an impact.
He needs a good start as well. He needs... without items, he doesn't just hit that hard as usual. He needs the early armlet or even something to boost up his damage if he's not going for the armlet.
Apparently I turned my mic off trying to fix it. I'm really frustrated with Dota TV. Oh boy, hopefully it's fixed, guys. We do apologize for the audio issues, but it should be fixed now. In our zeal to get it right for you guys.
Before the patch, it was fine. And after today, I think it only occurred after because it's a patch today.
Yeah, it's been... It's a work in progress. It's something completely new for Valve. It's something that's never been done in a game before, but definitely some room for improvement with it. Well, hopefully it gets improved. So as we look at these early lanes, Darkseer 18-0, and we see Hal really slipping behind in the CS. Fighting out with the Ion Shell under his tower, missing a lot of last hits. He's 10-3. And also we see G is going to the neutrals, it looks like, from time to time. You're getting some extra farm that way. Pajkatt having a pretty good time bottom. He's doubling the Mag's farm at this point just about and not being denied whatsoever.
And Hao's using his Spirit Bear to scout yet again, and he's pinging that he don't see the supports, and I think he's already warning the top lane that the two roaming supports are missing. They're not in the jungle.
They don't have a good ganking creep here. They have a bird, but it's very good for pushing.
Bird. It's not... Okay, it's still a bird. But it's a... I don't know if you call it a bird or something else. But the mid lane now, he was just really afraid just now. He thought that they were going to get him again, but now as he see 1437 and Misery appearing on top lane, and immediately he just comes up to farm. He was really scared just now.
Yeah, but as soon as they're spotted, and the downside to doing a lot of smoke ganks, if they fail early, your supports do fall behind. They got one, but they're not off to that perfect streak. At this point, Chen could easily be level 3.5 or so. They're still diving, though, with the Tornado onto Mu, but Mu's really hard to kill. He's also way behind the tower. Now they're going back in, and Sansheng's getting caught. He's getting burst down. And that shows you how squishy the Witch Doctor really is in the tri-lane. So just isolating those supports, pushing the lane. They drive Night Stalker back behind the tower. Then they pick off Witch Doctor, who was too far forward.
And Witch Doctor plus Lina is not too easy to land the combination as well because of the Witch Doctor. His stun doesn't really last that long as you compare to even a Disruption or something like a VS stun or Sand King stun.
And we're seeing why LGD, they favor getting that Shadow Demon with the third pick even over the Luna because it really makes the Chen jungle ganks a lot scarier.
Yeah, and not to mention that the Purge is always... Okay, they're going on again.
Yeah, they're going in again on Mu. He almost gets surrounded, but the Light Streak Array is there. And he'll escape. He's up to level
I
5. He's getting a lot of levels
wonder
here.
why Brax didn't open wounds him and try to kill. They didn't use open wounds on him.
Let's see. I think he's got his boots, but even so, they might have been able to go. They're going to go back in here. Cask does bounce once on a 1437. That's it. He's gone for 1 point in every ability. Oh, Misery denies his own creep.
Yeah, I'm wrong. Look what the Night Stalker got. He's refilling bottles. So
he's bottle crowing too.
But Veronica is not bottle crowing. And look at his CS.
He's struggling more as a result.
Pajkatt is 32 to 17 and he's 18 to 3.
Here we go again. They only used the smoke for that first gank. They didn't use it the second time around, but this is going to be smoke number 2. And they're going for Hao here. No, they're going into the enemy jungle. Chen needs a creep, and then they're going to go for him. He almost scouted it, but just a second late. Oh, this could be trouble. He's level 6 now.
I think he's going to die as well.
Oh, do they have TPs on any of those supports? Lino doesn't have one. Witch Doctor does, but I don't know if it will matter. There's your Entangle and Misery. Now the net and the Soul Catcher so crucial for setting up this kill. Hao still running, still trying to live. There's another Entangle. Chen will fall. And Hao gets the experience for that kill. Sansheng has TP'd in, but really, what can a Witch Doctor do in a counter gank scenario? Night Stalker joining the fight now, too. Everybody, party middle lane. They can't block G. Moo's getting blocked by Sansheng. Get the hell out of my way, he says. We want this kill. There's your Void. Double kill picked up in the counter gank with the Lone Druid Entangle setting up 1, and then the Night Stalker the next. So when it's all said and done, not really an effective gank from LGD.int. And now they're going on to Pajkatt bottom too. Shockwave being thrown out. He has Eclipse, but these two together can tank it. They've got the HP to survive through an Eclipse. They don't have mana, however. Can they run down Pajkatt? A couple more auto attacks are needed. Just Eclipsing Moo would be trouble. He's trying to get away from the neutral camp. He's trying to juke. He can. Wow, they're actually going to let him live. They're worried about those TPs. Shadow Demon had one.
Well. The reason why they failed the gang at middle there was because Misery, he didn't have mana to use his Neo, and I don't know if it was the right choice to try and get a creep, because the creep doesn't really deal too much of a damage there, and I think he really needed that Neo. If he had that Neo, he would have killed the Sida Bear first before himself being dead.
You can see that nighttime evasion bottom lane really being a factor here, even though Misery's very close. He's like 800 units away. They don't actually see him. He doesn't have mana for Skewer, I believe. No, he does just now. He just got the mana for it. He'll Skewer back to the tower, and now Night Stalker's here. Counter gank is coming in, but Pajkatt with his ultimate, really dangerous to dive. Veronica really needs to get mana. He needs to go back to base or Bottle Crow because they need that nuke. And Moose diving the creep. Gotta be careful.
Diving the creep.
Well, I mean, I say that because Pajkatt's here with Eclipse, but they're not going to go.
And I think the reason Magnus was struggling a lot, which comes down to what you mentioned, he didn't get to Bottle Crow, and you could see the difference of a Bottle Crowing Mag against a Luna and a one that doesn't Bottle Crow like today.
Yeah, Yao did get that Bottle Crow. Even when they had two heroes using the Courier, it was mid and bottom. It wasn't top and bottom. So if Night Stalker was going to Bottle Crow, then I feel it's kind of... I don't know if it's the best choice to send him top, because then your Courier can't be used for both lanes. And we now see a Luna who's out farming your Lone Druid. We see a Darkseer who's way ahead when it comes to that. Some of them are neutrals, I think, for the small camp, but even so, he's still ahead by 14 CS when it comes to net worth. Highest in the game by 600. The early Arcane Boots are already out, so Chen could go straight for the mech, or even G, if he wanted to, could go for it next.
It's a lot of neutral kills. He did it like 3 or 4 times already, so it really boosts up his economy a lot and helps with the early Arcane Boots.
Winter, your mic is still muted in Dota TV, apparently. If you could try turning it off and on again. Make sure it's on when you're done.
It's on, it's on.
Try turning it off and on again, if you didn't already do that. They're going on to 1437 mid. He's taking a lot of damage here. He's dropping low, but long DD, the first one to fall, and the Shadow Demon will be killed off too, so the two supports trading. Night Stalker still chasing. Wants to go on this, but Misery, he's actually only level 4. He's a little bit squishy right now. The TP forced out from the Luna. They're going to run away, so Luna not going to be farming during this time, whereas the Lone Druid is. He's pushing top lane. Lifestealer up to the phase boots, but you can already see how hard it is to lane against Lone Druid as a Lifestealer. He's losing a lot of HP.
And I think with Pajkatt TPing that, he actually saved Misery. If he didn't TP it, I'm pretty sure that they will still continue to dive and kill the Chen.
So for everyone who's tuning in, if the audio is fixed for Winter, let us know. We were trying to remove the echo, and in the process, it seems Dota TV decided to take away all of his audio as a punishment for our insolence. But hopefully it's fixed now. So he does save the life of Misery. but it comes at the expense of farming, and it also creates more space around the map for Tongfu. The nice thing about the Night Stalker is whenever you're running it and he has a decent start, even if your opponents are TP'd and surviving, as long as you don't give up kills, they're the ones using TP scrolls. For Night Stalker, he can just run around the map very quickly and doesn't have to spend the gold, so it's not as big of an investment for Tongfu as it is for LGD to deal with this first nighttime.
Yeah, and with them running the Night Stalker in the safe lane, they really expect to get a lot more than only just 1 kill and 1 assist for the first phase, and it's already almost over in another 2 minutes.
Well, I have to go back to that first that engagement bottom. If Veronica had mana, they would have killed off the Luna in that earlier fight, and then there was further engagements after that where he still didn't have mana, and it goes back to not bottle crowing early because Mu was using it top lane. If he had had that, there would have been an RP, there would have been shockwaves. I think they could have gotten 2 or 3 additional kills. They do have RP now, and in spite of that, LGD is confident. They're going to push this. The tower is in deny range. Open wounds on Veronica. They want him to go first. He's going to go in. RP, catching out a few. There's your defensive disruption, and the Light Strike Array trying to bring them down. Pajkatt is melting, but he doesn't actually die. He lives through it with the Eclipse. Now the chase is on. Brax is chasing. Where's the backup? Lone Druid can't really back up. All he can do is push and try and get them to retreat. Veronica throwing out another shockwave. LGD.int. Luna lived through that. I am very surprised. That was real close for Pajkatt.
Yeah, the disruption gave him a little bit time and wasted some of the spells on the Luna, and he got off the Eclipse as well that helped him survive. If the Night Stalker didn't die that fast and got another right click off, I think the Luna would have died first.
I also want to point out they did deny the tower in the middle of that fight. Mu had the presence of mind to deny it, so they did get the tower denied, but when it came to kills and as far as that goes, LGD comes out a bit ahead. Gold-wise, they're leading. Experience-wise, Tongfu is. And now Hao is starting to farm. They rotated him top lane, which I think is a very smart choice. It's a lane that LGD weren't looking to pressure. They really wanted to bring down the tier 1 mid. And Hao, up to 2,800 gold at 12 minutes in. He had a very difficult start, but when it comes to farm, he's now outpacing the Luna. This is the downside of the 5-man. Your carry isn't getting as much farm in the lane as the enemy carry, so you really have to make up for the trade with towers and hero kills.
And the deny was really important, like you pointed out, where the lineup LGD.int is running. They really have to get out all the economy of all the heroes by getting all those towers, and that deny really hurt them a lot because Lone Druid was farming all the way the fight, and the Luna was helping his teammates to take down the tower.
And Hao just continue to farm in that safe lane. LGD is grouping up. They want another tower, but they'd love a Lone Druid kill along with this. You don't want to let him just get that Radiance out. Luna's going for the utility build. She's not rushing to BKB. She's gotten the early reign of Aquila up. She's gotten the Tranquil Boots and the Bracer up. We may see her go for the BKB now, but even then, it will be delayed a bit. Up to 1,000 gold.
I think she would complete the drums first to give her team that extra move speed bonus.
It is good with 5-man. It's one of the most cost-efficient 5-man items.
But the thing is, Brax is on a hero that is...
Oh, he's coming top.
No,
he is coming top, even though he's a life stealer.
Oh, his hero doesn't really help them in the fight that much when he doesn't have items. It's not like he's on a Clockwork or a Tide Hunter where they just need levels to be able to help the team, and Tide Hunter being a huge presence in the fight as soon as he has his ulti.
The GG Tornado is here, being very annoying.
Again, the bird. The big bird.
They can open woods the bear, which I suppose is decent, just to try and chase it. But yeah, I mean, he's not a Tide or a Clock. You're right about that. Moo's getting caught, but he does pop the nighttime. He jukes into the trees. The Eclipse does all the damage they need. Down he'll go on the back lines of play. Witch Doctor's channeling a really nice ult, and there's nothing to stop it. Finally, a Lucent Beam. They use the RP, but they only catch Brax with it, and Brax is still tanking up in the front lines while Pajkatt's dealing the damage in the back. LGD's running, getting isolated, likely to be picked off. He will fall one by one. LGD.int are just outmaneuvering Tongfu in this engagement, and with the Night Stalker dying first, they really need that crowd control, and they didn't find it. Plus the RP not doing nearly enough in that fight, only caught the Lifestealer.
Yeah, he just wanted to stop the Lifestealer from going on his teammates on the BKB form, on the Rage form, and it really didn't do too much for the team. They needed him to hit more heroes in the RP.
And Hao wasn't there. He's just farming in the jungle. He can't do much either, so I guess that's kind of an even trade for the Lifestealer in that sense. We could see him pressuring the other lanes, but he's not doing that. He's trying to defend the tower with a bear that only has a stout shield.
Oh, they're going on.
They're going on Brax. They're going on LGD.int, but LGD.int are not afraid of this. They're still fighting. They're still
The
sticking
thing is, they
around.
don't have Eclipse right now. Eclipse is one of the biggest source of damage from their lineup.
It's also
Without it,
daytime, though. But you're right, it is a big spell. Veronica first to see her away here, and now who's going to get caught on the other side? Brax charges in with Rage, then backing off. Yeah, I mean, without Eclipse and without Darkness, I feel like neither team's going to have a very easy time getting kills.
They have 2 drums. Brax also got a drum. I just noticed.
Yeah, well, this build is really the favorite right now. The phase
Yeah,
bridge
Facebook
drums.
drum.
What we saw Lifestealer played a couple of months ago was always the Treads and oftentimes the Midas. In comes Brax into the wall. Moose dropping low. He's always getting Soul Catcher, then driven back. The first one to fall is going to be that squishy Witch Doctor. Long DD throws an angry Laguna Blade out, but not enough to set up a kill. Trying to find one on pajkatt, but once you get loose and beamed, you are dead, sir. One slap from the Lifestealer and a couple of nukes, and down he goes.
Why was he even standing there at that moment? It was so dangerous, his position.
He really wanted to man up there. He wanted to kill the Luna, Light Strike Array, and then Dragon Slaver, but incredibly risky. And also, they don't have any vision up the hill, so to do that without vision, yeah, you really have to question that.
And we've been talking about vision for the past few games, how important it is to have the decent vision, and the vision helps in your decision making. When you don't have the vision there, and he still wanted to try and kill the Luna, that was something very, very risky.
Lone Druid has his Relic now, but they're going to look to go on him anyway, and with just Demonic Purge and Soul Catcher, this should be a fairly easy kill, unless Hal gets super lucky and tangles. He doesn't have a TP scroll on his hero. There's no way out for Hal. Hal's dropping low. He's going to fall. And the Lone Druid just ignoring the fights to farm up his Relic, but now easy cannon fodder at this stage of the game. And this is why the Shadow Demon is such a strong pick. It's not just the illusion benefits. Mid lane, can they really dive on the Moo? No, I don't think so. In fact, G might be in a pickle here. He's still surged away. Veronica has the skewer. Now he'll unload it. He does miss, but he gets the shockwave. Gee, really, once they get these early towers, LGD.int always keeps the pressure up, even if it costs them their own lives.
Yeah, and one of the reasons that they were able to kill off the Scylla Bear at the top lane, the Lone Druid, was because 1437 opted to have the max Soul Catcher skill build this time around, and it proved to be really crucial there. I don't think he would be able to get a kill if it was just a level 1 or level 2 Soul Catcher.
Yeah, most of the teams that are picking Shadow Demon are picking him as a defensive support, but with LGD.int, it's an aggressive ganker. They're using it with the Chen to set up kills, so if you're going for that build, Shadow Poison doesn't help you. You're not going to be farming stacks. You're not going to be counter-pushing. You're going to be the ones applying pressure, so it fits their style much better. And against Lone Druid and Night Stalker, very tanky heroes, it's just going to make them so much easier to kill.
Yeah, and usually you go for the Shadow Poison build if you see your opponent pushing really hard at the early phase, and it doesn't seem to be the case for Tongfu right now. So I think this was a really smart adjustment by 1437.
And I'm getting a little worried about that Lone Druid. The Radiance timing not going to be that fast at the rate he's going. What is it going to be? Maybe another 2 minutes, and then it's a 20-minute Radiance, which is not that good. He did solo mid, but he also didn't shut down the Darkseer, so not accomplishing that goal. They were expecting the Lifestealer mid, but he never came. LGD.int outmaneuvering Tongfu so far, but Tongfu, they have a very strong defensive turtling lineup. They've got good AoE spam with the Mag, the Lina, and they also have a Mag. And whenever there's RP, you just have to be worried about going high ground.
Oh, the next just went into the creep. He was expecting Hal to form more wave, and he'll be waiting for him in the creep.
Yeah, I was keeping an eye on Hal, because there were some other heroes rotating around, including G, but he backed off.
Look at the vision they have right now. They can see every movement of Tongfu.
They have been
very...
vacuuming. Oh, they're going to go for sansheng, and he is just caught out of position and picked off. Wow, they expect him to just be trying to deward this hill, and they were waiting for it.
They were always ahead of Tongfu in the game. At the drop, you could even tell that they placed the Darkseer in middle lane because they were expecting that Tongfu, they will know something that's going on to expect LGD.int to put the Lifestealer in middle, but they didn't, and they put the Darkseer in middle. That really screwed up a lot of things for Tongfu as well.
I have to point out, the pajkatt right now is 2-0-6. He's the lead farmer in this game. He's got his BKB, he's got his drums. Once again, Luna is just having a great time. Every time they pick this hero and it has a great time, it's trouble for the opponents.
And not only that, Tongfu doesn't really have the lineup to deal efficiently with the pushes. They only have the Mag Wave and the Lina Slave. At this point of the game, those two nukes require to be quite close distance to cast, and LGD are in such a control right now. It's so dangerous for them to just go in front and spam their spells.
It's still pretty hard to go high ground, mostly because you have to worry about RP, but let's see if they're able to siege this.
All the 6 towers are down already for Tongfu.
Yeah, I would like to see that Roche soon. They've got the vision, they have the map control. The gem should be coming shortly. And you've got heroes that can take Roche pretty quickly.
Do they have a pipe up already? No.
No, Darkseer went for a Vanguard and now he's going back for Plate Mail. They are looking to skip a pipe, I think. I don't see anyone building it. Maybe 1437, but it's still a while off.
I think G could get it. Or is he trying to get a Shivas instead?
Yeah, he's already got a Plate Mail, so I mean, he could actually. He's up to 2500, so if he wanted to go back for the pipe, he could.
Because Brax is not a hero that could get the pipe in this game. You don't want the Lifestealer to be getting a pipe.
That's not a good use of the Lifestealer. The Magic Immune hero getting magic resistance doesn't seem a good fit. Something's not adding up here, Winter. Why is 2 + 2 suddenly equaling 5?
The more ideal hero is definitely going to be the Darkseer.
Well,
but if you want oh no, he's not going. He just got a Mystic Staff.
Well, Shiva's is quite nice against... I mean, the DPS on this team is a Bear, a Night Stalker, and maybe the Mag, although he's not really that farmed. They're all melee, and the rest of the damage is going to be nuke-based anyway, so I think this is not a bad choice. I mean, look at Lena. She's only level 8. She doesn't even have her Light Strike Array max. The Witch Doctor, he's gone for a Cask max, so there's really not that much magical damage. It's a nice item to have, but it's not like you're up against Illuminate like we saw last time they got a pipe.
It will still help a lot because of the spam, and you're trying to take down the tower. It helps you deal with the spam and allows you to not be so vulnerable, because sometimes when you're going after the tower and you get too overexcited over the tower and you just forget that they have a lot of spam coming in, and you just tank the tower until you are stuck in a bad position and you get caught out. So the pipe will just give you that sense of security. You could always just wait for the pipe to cool down and go back out again. It's always safer that way.
LGD.int doesn't want a safety blanket. They want to play this one. They're real men, okay? They're confident.
They're not like their core team, LGD China. LGD China likes everything to be safe.
Yeah, no, these guys a little bit more ballsy. And risky, too. if you're ballsy, you have to be risky.
The Lifestealer plus Luna is really ballsy. It's really and risky as well, as you pointed out. Not many teams have the balls to do this.
Oh, it's working so far, but they haven't broken high ground yet, and there's a Mag. There's no Rubik in this game either, so we won't be seeing RP get stolen.
The only reason Brax has items is all because of the gold from the towers. Look at his CS. His CS is even lower than a Night Stalker.
And this Night Stalker hasn't been farming much for the past 10-50 minutes or so. He's gonna get caught mid, and now Shiva's. Then look at how slow he is. Open wounds at Shiva. That's a Night Stalker at the nighttime, and just instantly disintegrated.
He feels like a snail at nighttime even.
Yeah, he was just squirming around there trying to wriggle free, but he couldn't do it. That Lifestealer stayed firmly attached at the hip.
How much is the slow percentage? Oh, it's 110% slow. The Shiva plus the Lifestealer.
70% from the open wounds, another 30% from the Shivas. So actually, I'm getting
It's actually 40% movement speed. The 30% is aura slow for the attack speed.
Oh, I was reading it wrong. Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. So it is 110. It's a lot.
That's how badly he got slowed there, the Night Stalker.
Well, they don't have a pipe, and they are taking a lot of nuke spam, a lot of damage here. Luna doesn't have Manta yet.
Oh, he almost vacuumed the Night Stalker down. He was trying to do it.
Not able to in the end, and now I'm lagging. I hope that's... Okay. Uh-oh. They may be making me nervous. We're all good. We're all good. Nothing to worry about, Winter. Relax.
And Midori could still try to... I think he could get any Frost Armor creep would be useful for the next, or even the Pack Leader aura.
He had an Ice Armor creep before, but it seems to have died at some point this game.
There's still one more here, right here. I'm going to try and draw it. Can you see it?
Yeah, I see it. Good drawing. Nice circle.
There was one more creep that could do good for the pushing, as well as the speed aura. It gives the next even more move speed so that he can't be oh, they're gonna be fighting here.
Tongfu, they're gonna get caught high ground to low ground. Surprise, they say. And look at how quickly they melt. That burst, honestly, the Shivas, it's just like some extra burst because they've got the Soul Catcher there. It really adds up. Lone Druid just melted.
200 damage.
Now Sansheng's being dove middle lane. Pajkatt's chasing. One more glaive. He gets the kill. They forced out a buyback from Hao, and Hao slips. He's 4k behind now. Aluna, that at one point this game he was ahead. And
it was because of the fact that there was a ward here that enabled the gank right here up the river. That spotted both of them farming there.
Oh, Longini's being dove to the base. It looks like Tongfu just can't really fight effectively. There's your RP. Where's the skewer? On 3. There you go. They're all trapped at the tower. Now they're going to fight under their tower. Pajkatt wants to really punch his way out of this one. He'll be able to escape. Some heroes diving towards the fountain, it looks like. Veronica is going to... Just the illusions drove them back. And now they're going to go for round 2 onto the Brax.
1437 lost the gem there. He died at the inside of the base after the skewer.
Could be a big loss, but let's see. Can they get the Rax? There's no RP anymore. The Rage is going to be used to dodge that cask, so Brax isn't being stunned, but of course the Darkseer still is. Darkseer's very, very low. He's got a Shiva as the bear comes in. Hao doesn't have a resummon. If he loses the bear, he's in trouble, but Pajkatt gets entangled. Will die once here. Can he come back to life and live? Misery can send him back. He'll have to do so, perhaps. There's the cast, but a 3-hero vacuum, and the BKB is cooling down. LGD are going to back off. The tower almost dead. Will be denied here, perhaps. It's down to 1 hit. No, they're going to leave it. But no glyph, so it may die on the next push if they don't.
They're gonna deny it right before they come in.
It delays when they get the extra gold.
This is very bad for Tongfu already, very bad. Because Hao is so far behind and they only got the Shadow Demon with a 3-man RP. It tells you the story of the game that even with a good RP, it doesn't necessarily mean that Tongfu will be able to win the fight.
Well, the one thing they're lacking, it seems, is the follow-up damage. The Lena's the only one who can provide AoE follow-up.
Witch Doctor doesn't seem to deal enough damage at the moment. If it was a hero like a Lashrock, or no, they can't pick Lashrock, more like a Rubik, which can have the spell steal and the Fate Bolt to deal damage, it could have been a lot better for them.
In theory, the Witch Doctor is amazing. If you get a 3-hero Maledict, in comes G, and he's gonna Shivas, and now Brax pops out, the wall dropped on 2, and they're all just exploding here. Hao's gonna fall. Overwhelming Tongfu. LGD.int is just comfortably bullying them in this game. The Witch Doctor pick not working so far. 1 lane of Brax gonna fall. Luna's really fat. Almost 6k net worth ahead of that Lone Druid. And I think this might be it for Tongfu. They're dead for a while. No buyback on Lone Druid. There doesn't seem to be any way out.
Pipe where both of your carries have BKB and spell immunity.
Yeah, who needs a pipe? It might have helped. They did take a lot of damage, but the Shiva's Guard, I gotta say, it was very effective this game.
Yeah,
it really helped them set up kills. Very
effective. It seems like only after the Shiva's Guard, G is gonna start to build the pipe. He has a cloak now.
Yeah, now you need the pipe, G. And GG, Tongfu, they know their beat. They tap out.
It's very strategically well played by LGD in mind games in the drafting phase and the laning phase that caught out Tongfu.
LGD looking calm and collected as they take that game 1. So we're headed to a game 2. For anyone who doesn't know the schedule or the format, this is the semi-finals of the G League Season 2. It's a best out of 5. We only have 1 more game today. Then, after those 2 games are played, we'll take a break. We'll come back tomorrow at 20 SGT, and then we'll play games 3 through 5. If 4 and 5 are needed, we'll play them. If not, well, then we won't. Hopefully it goes longer than 3 games. Hopefully it's not kind of that anticlimactic game number 3 and that it's over. But we'll see. Tongfu, it just felt like they were not prepared for LGD. And to some extent, they sort of expected the smoke ganks. Like we saw the Lone Druid earlier was trying to scout them, but they weren't able to execute and properly prevent them, and that really cost them come mid-game.
Yeah, it was a bit unlucky for Hao as well, because the first smoke gank, he almost spotted. If only the bear was up the hill just by 1 second earlier, he would have definitely spotted the smoke.
Well, Winter, that wraps up game number 1. As we head into game 2, what does Tongfu need to do differently? The one thing they will have going their way, they're going to have first pick this game.
Yeah, and I'm curious about how fast are they going to pick up the Keeper of the Light, because we could see from LGD in the first game, they had first pick and they ban out the Keeper of the Light, but I don't think it will be the case when they are second pick, because you just have to ban out certain heroes when you're not the first pick.
All right, guys, that wraps it up for game 2. We'll come back, or game 1 rather. We'll come back soon with game 2, and then that will be it for today. But this is a best out of 5, so no matter what, we have at least 1 game tomorrow. Hopefully it'll be 3. Stay tuned. Game 2 coming up soon.